Okay, it's time for our weekly check-in with Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati. Good morning.
Morning, Bob.
Good to see you. I want to talk to you the morning after the big budget announcement and a lot of money being spent. $424 million towards the safe reopening of the borders, very important to Niagara Falls, and a lot of tourism dollars. Was it $1 billion in total?
Yeah. So $1 billion over 3 years, which is great. I mean, there's a tourism recovery fund for a significant amount of money. I believe that was $500 million. And we understand this is really, really important. And we're going to need that because tourism, I don't need to tell you, here in Niagara Falls, 40,000 jobs depend on tourism to be successful. And it's going to take a little bit of help, a little bit of stimulus to get that rolling again once we get things moving, once we get the borders open, and once we start marketing the country once again, because that's going to happen this summer. Things are going to start opening, and we need to be successful because as it is now, the wage subsidy and rent subsidy program ends in September. And it's a little bit of a concern because Niagara Falls, we use the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, and 80% of the money is made between July 1st and Labor Day. And unfortunately, that's when the wage subsidy ends. So we're going to ask the federal government to consider extending that a little further because unfortunately, it might not quite be enough to keep tourism alive this year.
Yeah. How soon do you expect that border to reopen?
Well, we're having discussion right now. I talked to two of the other border mayors in Windsor and Sarnia, and we understand we're expecting there should be a safe plan for reopening now to be unveiled hopefully in July for certainly people that have been vaccinated on both sides of the border, because now the cases per capita are the same in Canada and the US. So there's not a risk in between countries. So it's important to start having the discussion, especially the United States is much further ahead than us with their vaccinations. They've already got 50% of the country has received both their vaccines. So we need to start having that discussion. Now, we're hoping that it's going to be sometime in early to mid-summer.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be very important because what is it, 50% of the tourism revenue?
Yeah, exactly. So 25% of tourists, 50% of the tourism revenue. So it's very, very important for us.
Yeah. We were just talking before the break about the protests in Niagara Falls on the weekend, and there were some charges. Let's talk about the temperature in Niagara Falls.
Well, the temperature has been very, very hot, and I understand the group's planning. They've got another protest planned, and these are happening all over the province, all over the country, so I don't expect them to end anytime soon. Apparently, they had upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 people show up. It's unfortunate because the timing is not good during a lockdown. I mean, right now, the police were down there, the OPP, our bylaw people are down there, and I understand there's going to be some more charges happening. You know, my big concern and the thing that I try to suggest to a number of people and why the timing is not good is it's not going to end the pandemic any sooner, and it's certainly not going to bring an end to the lockdown. If anything, it might extend it. So not good timing for something like this.
Yeah. Let's talk about how are the vaccines going? Dr. Hergy, Niagara's acting medical officer of health, said yesterday he's not sure, but he's worried that there's going to be another diversion of vaccines to Toronto hotspots.
Well, and I'm not so worried about that because obviously what happens in places like Peel will affect Niagara Falls. And those are hot spots. And a lot of countries have taken this approach that you got to zoom into the hot spots. So I think that is important. We're at over 26% that are vaccinated here in Niagara. So we're doing a really good job. And all vaccination spots have been getting a real healthy uptake. So if some of those hot spots like Peel are going to get a little bit more of the vaccine, that's the way it should be. And similarly, if Niagara Falls or Hamilton or Kitchener was a hot spot, we should get more. I think that's how it should work.
Let's talk about some city business. Waiving municipal fees for more than a dozen types of businesses. What types?
Yeah, so these are going to be businesses that have been affected by COVID. So it's not for everybody. Some businesses are actually thriving during COVID. Certain manufacturing businesses, certain service businesses, but businesses like bowling alleys, hair salons, theaters, places like that have been affected, we're going to give them a break with their business license. It's not a huge number. For the city, it'll represent around $36,000.
Okay, and a staff report on a living wage in Niagara Falls is being presented this week, and it's at a big cost. What is it, $115,000 a year?
Yeah, and now that's just for one of the lower levels of a living wage because we're already a living wage employer for our full and permanent employees. So we already are. But part of our concern that the number that they came up with was $18.12 an hour. But when you look around other areas of the province, such as Hamilton, there's $16.45. Waterloo's $16.35. A lot of other areas, including Guelph, $17. So we're trying to do a little research and understand how Niagara could possibly be more expensive, because typically we're less expensive. So we need to do a little bit of research there, but certainly it'll be an interesting discussion this afternoon with City Council.
Okay, before we let you go, Brian, is the mayor of Niagara Falls going to need a snow shovel?
Yes.
Yeah, just a heads up there.
Yeah, I always
thank you.
got a shovel, so now I'll need a snow shovel.
Yeah, that's right.